Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, Diane. How are you? For some reason, it always looks a little bit different in my camera than it does on my iPad screen. I think we're all organized here now, though. Hello, Darlene. It's a lovely, lovely day in Calgary today. I'm going to get out for a little walk after this. The fall leaves have definitely almost gone. We've had a little bit of windy days, and so a lot of them have blown off the trees. Although there is still some pretty colors, I'm doing great. So I think if you want to get fall pictures, you kind of got to get out now. It's gray in Montreal. Mm. We had a rainy day the other day here, which we do not have very often. Even if it rains a little bit, then usually it's sunny later in the day. But it was rainy all day, which was very, very strange for us. At least the sun usually peaks out at some point. We were at a local corn maze, I guess, and pumpkin patch a couple of weeks ago. So we got some nice fall photos. And my daughter, who's a teenager, she said she really wanted to get some fall pictures. So I took some of her. Hello, Tamara. And I'm very lucky that she doesn't mind if I scrapbook her or post her pictures on social media, as long as it's not something she hates. So I thought these were really cute pictures to use with this line. And I thought that we would do a little page, well, a scrapbook page, but like nothing that's too crazy complicated. Just do a quick page. I'm going to use the October sketch. So Creative Scrapbooker has their monthly sketchy challenge Facebook group, and every month you get a new sketch when you're in there. I love scrapbooking with sketches, so I thought, why don't we use that and, as our starting point, and we'll just go through making a layout. Hello, Gail. And of course, 49 and Market is so beautiful. I love this fall collection. I love fall anyways. It's my favorite. And so I don't think you even need a whole lot to dress up your pages, but we'll have a little bit of fun playing around. I was going to show you what's in this line. So let me just move a couple things out of the way here. The paper is absolutely amazing. Let's make sure we've got it all in the screen here. All right, so this is the art options, kind of it's that vintagey line. This is the Spice collection. So, and this is the 12 by 12 paper pack. There's a whole bunch in the Scrap Shot store. If you just search for 49 Spice, and then everything will come up. But this, I love that it has the pinks and the oranges in it. And I love, there's some beautiful papers. I'll show you as we go through. And that teal, because I think teal is such a nice fall color as well. And then on the back of this cover sheet, they've actually put all of this 12 by 12 cut apart. So you can go ahead and cut. It's like you've got the ticket stubs and the library cards. This is just so pretty. You can make them into pockets, and there's tickets here. And then you've got the beautiful pumpkins and the watercolor flowers, the butterflies. So those we'll be able to use as embellishments. And we've got 8 double-sided papers. So this one here is called Spun Gold. You've got a pretty neutral background and then the leaves on the side. Hello, Jenny. Have you picked up this line or used this line yet? I love this plaid. So pretty. I think maybe we'll use this for something like a border. And look at this pumpkin border. Isn't that great? So I love that they've done the branding strips with the different designs. And this is so pretty. Then we have the persimmon paper with this beautiful orange. And we've got the butterflies on there. And then this really pretty purple. So it has kind of a plaid in the background and then that watercolor distressed look. Then we have Spice Inverted Garden. Oh, it's the Spice collection. Inverted Garden is this paper, and you've got the florals more up at the top, and then this really pretty teal with those tone-on-tone polka dots. And we have the Fuchsia Grove. Again, beautiful. I mean, you could seriously just take these papers, put your photos on and embellish a little bit, and you could have a whole album. It's so gorgeous. And then this neutral tone on tone, so pretty. Oh, thanks, Darlene. Sorry, I didn't see your comment. That's very sweet. And Charisma is this paper. I love how it's got a little bit of the pink pulled into that neutral background. And then we've got the pink in the back with the leaves. That's beautiful as well. And I mean, if you wanted to use this for even say like a wedding page or a girly page, it doesn't have to necessarily be fall, but it definitely works with your fall photos. And then here we've got Caramel Toffee. I love this page. And I think what I'll do with this is I have some of the girls together, and then I'm going to just like use this background as is, put a couple photos on and embellish it and just really focus on this beautiful paper. And then we've got the hearts on the branding strip here, and then the brown in the background. And we've got Ginger Kiss, another good one to really just create that pre-done background. Put your photos in. And look at this pretty paper. The problem is that both sides are so nice that sometimes it's hard to decide what to use. But then I sometimes don't feel bad about cutting it because then I get to use both sides. So I don't know. It is beautiful. And russet. So you've got the browns, but then you've got the pumpkins and this really pretty leaf background. I love that. With this kind of the greens pulled in here. So I'm thinking today we'll use, and then just, I kind of forgot to really show you, but these branding strips, just so you can get an idea of how great they are for creating a border. This looks like, I think would be similar to the washi tape there. The washi tapes as well are beautiful. All right, so what I think that we'll do, we'll keep aside for our layout. I'm thinking this paper and then maybe this with a little bit of the plaid. I don't know. We'll keep that aside for now. We can always pull from something. And then we also have these cut aparts. Hello, Amy. And we've got the spice chipboard word set. So what I'm going to do for this, I've just brought up a couple containers, and I really like dumping out my ephemera or my chipboard things so I can really see what's going on. Also, this is very cool and would make a really great like mat or card base. So I think you can do lots with this as well. And on the back, you'll see everything that's included. So all of these chipboard words, and then you've got the smaller words as well. Hello, Sienna, how are you? So we've even got some little chipboard pumpkins, thankful, together, spicy. It's funny. Erica was reading, if you're familiar with the Geronimo Stilton books, they're like this mouse who goes on adventures, and Erica's 11. So she's she's reading this book, and I think she's filling out like something in a Bookly app or some kind of book reading app where you kind of review the book, and there's a spot there where you can put like how spicy the book is, and she decided this Geronimo Stilton book was quite spicy, she said. All right, we've got favorite, perfect, harvest. So I think we'll probably pull one of these for our title. And then again, when we look at that sketch, we do have a long title here. We don't have to stick with that, but if it works, yes, and Thea Stilton. Yeah, they're both really good. And we've been reading one of the Geronimo Stilton books together at nighttime, and it's very cute. Lovely pumpkins, maybe pumpkins. Anyway, we'll keep those in mind, and we can pick through them as we need. And then here's a look at the ephemera bits, which is so completely full. A great transition for young readers, yes. And so she often, well, she kind of likes the graphic novels, but she's moved on from that. So you're right, Diane. Like it's kind of that next level where it's a chapter book. There's a little bit more, but it has, the words are in a really fun, colorful font. So it doesn't feel like for kids who hate sitting still, which is Erica, it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to sit down and read this whole chapter book that has no pictures. There's pictures, and so it is great. Isn't that pretty? That's gorgeous. So this is the ephemera, and I think there's two, no, maybe not. I don't know. If you look in the shop, you'll see like what's all there. There's different rub-ons, and I love this Viewmaster. I actually have a vintage Viewmaster with lots of vintage reels that my uncle had given to me when I was little, and I still have them. So I've always loved Viewmasters. So you've got lots of words in here, postcards, tickets, all these little labels that you can add the date or journaling to, and then you've got pumpkins and flowers. So sometimes if I'm going to do a lot of pages with one collection like this, I would actually, I have a little container that has little separate spots, and I would put like all the little words like this, which I like to put under my photos. And I would put, kind of everything together that's similar. So I could just grab what I'm looking for. You've got little frames and circles. At the Montreal Book Fair many years ago, they had Geronimo signing books. Oh my goodness, that would be so cute. Autograph for your daughter and niece. Aww. Yes, that would be, wow, that photo would be amazing. You just ordered yesterday, Sienna. I know. Well, I'll try not to enable. Hello, Jennifer. And welcome to everybody who popped on. Yeah, the browns are nice, Jenny. Sorry, just catching up on the comments. It is a beautiful line, though. So just saying, oh, look, you've got some tags here. And these are always great for layering as well. So lots of really fun, just you feel like you're sorting through some kind of vintage finds. So we will definitely pull from there. And then I also have the Spice laser cut mixed media leaves. And if you haven't used any of the laser cuts, they're amazing. So this one is the leaves. I think there's some flowers as well, which look absolutely gorgeous. And again, I think you could use these all year round. These are they're almost a little thicker than like a cardstock. They kind of almost feel like a thin wood veneer. And I don't know if it just says laser cut. I'm sure it's paper, but they are cut out so finely, it looks like you've got a real leaf on there. Hello, Lorraine. It's so beautiful. So you just punch these out, and then I would probably just keep them in like your package or a little envelope or something so they don't get damaged. But they're so beautiful, and you get 2 full 12 by 12 sheets of them. So I thought we would kind of use those going down our layout to create that border. And then what they've also included on the back of that main cover is all these things that you can then cut out. So they've really thought about everything. Yes, Tamara, you love vintage. Oh, you found some more? Yes, Tamara found a really beautiful toy box that she showed me, and it's amazing. You should start scrapbooking your antique stuff. Both expensive hobbies. Well, what's a hobby if it's not expensive, right? But does it make you happy? I think so. All right, so we've got our photos. And let's move that there. So I'm going to cut this so that, because I'm going to layer it, and I figured we would just use a white card base, not a card base, scrapbook cardstock. And we definitely have to cut off that branding strip because we want to save those. We might use them. I don't know yet which part of this I'm going to use, but I'm just going to cut it. It's hard for me to pre-prepare a scrapbook page like I do a card, so sometimes I don't always do a scrapbook page because I feel like sometimes like if I'm making one at home and I kind of am stuck at the spot where I'm not sure, then I walk away and leave it. And obviously we don't want this to go on for hours and hours. Those are so pretty. So we'll set those aside. So I'm just following along with the sketch, and so my idea is just to do this orange paper kind of on this side, on the left side, and I'm just going to make it 5 inches. And then it's purple on the back, so we could use some of that purple if we need to. And then, let's see. Also, when I make a layout, I feel like everything is just completely spread out. Do you guys do that? Okay, so we've got this piece here, our photos, and I don't go exactly by the sketch, but it just gives me a starting point, and then I can say, oh, and this is what I want to do. So this is what I'm thinking. I'll make sure that you can see the whole layout. And oh, there, my iPad finally caught up. Okay. So we could do this. And sometimes when you just look at it, you can kind of tell, oh, I like that, or maybe I need something different. And we have these photos, these little photos here that I printed with my Canon selfie. Yeah, you spread on the floor. I know. I do really love this plaid as well, but I kind of feel like I need something a little bit lighter here. So I'm trying to just figure out what I want to do. And my process is kind of like put on what I think I'm going to put on, see if I like it. I'm also thinking that we'll add some of these leaves. Not sure if I like this color or if I want to go, I think maybe I need to go with something like maybe that neutral, the one that's a little bit more plain. Let's see. Oh, there is the leaf one as well. That would look nice, but it might be too colored. Okay, we're going to try this one. See how we like this. I kind of feel like this works. There's this as well, which I like, but again, I feel like then the whole thing is busy. So we're going to go with this. And I think I'm just going to cut it up to here so I still have all these florals if I want to still use those on a different page. And we cut that one at 5, so we need at least 7. I'm going to go a little bit longer in case my cutting isn't exactly straight. So I'm cutting it at 7.5, and then we can put that there. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. I've got a glue runner, these scrapbook adhesives by 3L. We've got a little heart that escaped from somewhere. You know what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to just put a little bit of this liquid glue because sometimes it makes it just a tiny bit easier to slide it around a little bit. That's the Precision Glue Press, and I'll show you that a little bit closer in a minute. Try not to get my head in the camera. You don't realize how close you get to things. Okay, that looks good. And then we've got this piece here. And I'm just wondering if I'm going to tuck anything under there. So what I'm going to do is, I don't think I am, but we could also have our flower at the bottom too. That's what I think I'm going to put the flower at the bottom. And so for this edge, just in case I want to tuck something under a little bit, I'm not going to go exactly to the edge. Have you guys done any fall scrapbooking? I was happy that we actually got out and got these photos. Just because fall never lasts too long here in Calgary. And if it's nice out and you can get out and the leaves are still there. See, I did put this on a little bit crooked. I will have to straighten that out after. And I don't know, maybe like one way is a little bit longer than the other. Let's look at this. This is my life, is things are never exactly straight, but it'll just be okay. I'm gonna leave it straight down here and then I can trim the top of it after. Maybe because I cut this piece this way and the other one the other way. I don't know. This is just me, guys. Okay, I'm gonna trim this off just to even it up. All right. It's not perfect, but it's going to be good enough. Okay, so we've got these really cute photos of Amy, and they have a little border strip on the sketch. So I think we might put a strip, maybe even that, plaid paper. You like standing when you're crafting, and yes, that's a good idea. I actually do have those risers on this table, although it could stand to be a little bit higher. I find I usually stand if I'm live, and it depending on what I'm doing. Sienna, you made a fall mini album, but you haven't put photos in it yet. Oh yes, that would be nice. So here's that piece that has the pretty plaid paper. I'm not sure about that yet. We might. Also, that teal paper was really nice, or we could even take one of these backgrounds. Not backgrounds, border strips. Sometimes I kind of try it until I find something that works. I do kind of like that teal, so we'll keep that in mind. Well, there's also that. And I'm thinking we would do something with these leaves. So maybe even create a little bit of a border with these. And I don't think there's any specific right or wrong way. If you find something that works and you like it, I think you should just do it. Because you could probably spend all day going through a million different options, but then, you end up not completing anything. So I think it's better just to choose the first, if you come across something, it works, just choose it and go with it, and then at least you're making something. And if you think of something later that you could have used, then at least pull that out and make another scrapbook page with it. So I'm just punching out a couple of these leaves. These are awesome. And you could even trim some of these off. So if you didn't want all of the leaves, you could trim them. This might not be exactly how it works, but we're kind of going with this for now. And then we'll keep in mind all these cut apart ideas on this page. Okay, so if I did want to use this strip, then I can kind of layer this over. And then there's more teal, like there's teal in this wagon, which is great. You trim and tuck leaf parts all the time? Yeah, for sure. And then, if something's hidden, you may as well cut it and then use it on another area. The leaves are amazing, and I love leaves. What if sorry, Lorraine, I'm just seeing your comment now. If I use the first sheet and use the right side where the blooms are on the right? And I think I have no idea now. So I'm sure that would have been a very good idea. Let's see, I'm going to cut a strip of this. So I don't want to cut off my flowers. So I'm going to use the blue and just cut a little strip. So I'm going to cut the border strip off, and then actually what I'm going to do, so we're at 12 inches. I'm just going to cut a half strip off so I can move this to 11 and a half. And trim that. Those stripes are nice, but I don't think they go with my page. The wind has really picked up. I can see outside my window. We are picking up our pumpkins today from school. We've ordered pumpkins for a fundraiser. Yeah, I do like that strip. I know. Okay, so we'll use that. Actually, before I put that on, I did grab a few stencils, and I grabbed some inks. Usually if I'm working with a specific collection, I will just look at the sheet that's the cover sheet, and then I'll pull some inks that match just in case I want to do a little bit inking. So this one was pine needles. I felt like that one matched that teal. Then forest moss, which is probably a little bit darker, but it's the same tone. We've got seedless preserves, which I thought matched that purple. Crackling campfire for the orange, and then ground espresso. So I know that these, I think they'll match pretty well, and I can go ahead and use those throughout. And I just grabbed some Tim Holtz stencils. This one is, I think it's number 50, no, set 28. I don't know. It's not too old. It might still be in the store, but Stampers Anonymous does not retire things. So if you ever see an older Tim Holtz stamp and you want Sandy to order that in, you can just email her, sandy@scrapshotz.com. And then if it's something, whether it's Stampers Anonymous or whatever, if it's something she can get in from her distributor, she's happy to order those. So this I thought would be kind of nice just to layer on, add even a little bit more detail. So maybe we'll Let's see, we could go with almost like the idea of bringing in a little bit of that purple because there's not a lot with the purple. So maybe we'll use a little bit of the seedless preserves. And let me just grab a brush. Do I remember when one Halloween there were no pumpkins? You had to carve squash. That's so funny. I do not remember that. That is funny. I know that my mom used to make pie sometimes from squash, and it actually tastes like pumpkin pie. I don't know why, whether she was just doing weird stuff or whether we didn't have pumpkins. I don't know. Okay, I do like that. Why don't we put a little bit down here as well? I kind of like to do things in threes, so we'll just, it's pretty light, so it's just going to blend in and just be a background element. I did buy a pumpkin from the store. They were on sale for $5. I might have told you this already. And I made like 7 3-cup bags of pumpkin. And right now in the store, I think the cheapest I've seen a can of pumpkin, which would be a little under 3 cups, I think like maybe 2.5, or the cheapest I've seen is just over $6 for 1 can. So I got pretty much 7 cans. I was very pleased with myself. It was a lot of work I just baked the pumpkin. So that wasn't hard. It was just then, scraping it and making sure it's all smooth after you scoop it out after it cooks. But it was definitely worth it. Okay, so this precision glue press, if you haven't seen this, this is from My Sweet Petunia, and it is fairly new. I think they've been very popular. I think Sandy still has a few in the shop. It comes with your base with this little silicone stopper type thing, and then you get a full bottle of glue. You get an empty bottle so you can refill it with your own liquid glue that you have, and you're able, and then this press, and you're able to just leave it in here. I don't bother putting the cover on anymore. It doesn't dry out. And then as I'm gluing things, I just pick it up, use my glue. If the glue bottle is getting low, then you're still having it upside down, so the glue is right at the bottom, and you can just put it down into the holder rather than trying to put the cover on, take the cover off, put the cover on, take the cover off. I really like it, and I think it's a great design. So if you like using liquid glue, you might want to have a look at that or put that on your Christmas list. I'll trim that at the top later. Okay, so we've got this little area here. Then we've got our photos. I don't know really which one I want at the top, if it really matters. Okay, so we can start going with our leaves. So I don't know, should we have the leaves just kind of over top, or should we have them looking like they're tucked under so they're not peeking, or they're not kind of on both sides? What do you think? If they're over top, they're just kind of layered like that. These the detail on them is amazing. We can also put some over here, and then we have some other elements that we can add, of course. Okay, what do you think? Does that look weird? You'd be afraid that Shannon will steal it. Hello, Rebecca. Um, yes, she might. Erica was actually having a really good time using it, so I can say it is quite fun for them to use. Okay, and this is, so while we're deciding on that, and you guys tell me, do you think the leaves should be there? Do you think they look okay? So they have 3 photos in the sketch, but I almost think we could do 4. And then we could still have room here that we could write some journaling. This can be a pretty easy page. Okay, let's see if I can see your comments here. Looks great. Okay. And then we have to decide if we're going to put our title this way, or we could put it up at the top. I also like the chipboard ones. So pumpkins. I do kind of like the color of the favorite, pulling in the color of the blue. Harvest, not really the, we could do hello and then something else. We've got gather, fall, hello, autumn, but I don't think I like the same font in a different color. Then we've got some of these words that are in a writing font. Hello, autumn, that might work, or autumn favorites. Okay, so maybe I'm kind of thinking autumn favorites because it's the same color, or autumn favorite. I don't know. I'm terrible with titles. It's kind of almost an afterthought for me. That's why I like pre-done words, because then I can just put them on. It's not really a specific title for me. It's just, there's filled with gratitude. And there's fabulous fall day. That could work too. But I think I pulled that out earlier. But I felt like that would look better if it was going across the top. You like the teal? Okay, we're gonna go with that. Because sometimes you just gotta go with it. We'll probably pull some more of these things out. So first, when I know that I'm going to add something like the leaves, yeah, let's go ahead and add them. I'm just going to glue those on. This is really nice because it has a very small tip, so especially for these really fine, detailed leaves, those are going to be very beautiful. You could also, what we might do is add a little bit of foam tape to a few areas. So we'll put the glue on the stem, and then we'll add a little bit of foam tape. Now I'm completely spread out. We've been, scrapbooking for like 5 minutes, and then I already can't find stuff. Okay, this is the Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L Foam Tape. And I'm not going to glue this one down yet because I might pop it up on top of my photo. You can also adjust these a little bit. So I've got those glued down, but this one isn't. This one has, I'm going to leave that kind of up. And then we'll be able to see if we need any more leaves tucked in here. Again, I think I will glue that leaf down and just put a little bit of foam tape on the top one just to give a little bit of dimension. And you can move these around a little bit too, like you have a little bit of wiggle room because the stems are pretty fine. Okay, let's put this one on, and then maybe we will put one more, or we'll see if there's something we want to add in there. And once, I think that you can always reuse sketches. So if you had, if you kind of figured out your idea for this page, you could definitely go create another page that's very similar and add more photos. It could be, 49 to Market has lots of these, all of these elements, whether it's a chipboard piece, and so you could do them in lots of different styles. Okay, before I add another leaf here, I think that I'm going to just see if there's something else I want to put in there. Let's see here. Okay, we don't want any more titles. We do have some of these pieces of our ephemera, so we could put something in there like that. We've got some tags. And while I'm looking through here, then I can kind of decide, do I want to layer these photos on like a piece of this background? It looks to me like maybe it's not specifically a library card, but some kind of vintage. It could bring in the pink because there's pink in the leaves, but she's not really wearing pink. Okay, so let's do this and see what we think. And I wonder if I have my stapler. I do. My Tim Holtz mini attacher. I think that would be fun to use. Okay, so I'm kind of liking how that's feeling there. And so maybe I will add the leaf because I don't want to put anything across here if I've already got these things on, if that makes sense. So we'll just add a little bit of glue. I can put a little bit of tape on this too. And I don't want it perfectly straight because, let's face it, I'm not going to get it completely straight. So if I purposely make it less straight, I actually have more of a chance probably of it being straight. All right. And then I'm going to look for a few more pieces of ephemera. I'll put this one here, and we might grab another leaf out. And once you get used to adding some layers onto your projects, it does get easier, that idea of layering. Pop that out. Okay, so that's going to go there. And I think I'm still going to put 4 on there, but I'm not completely sure. Then let's look for some elements that we could layer. So this we're going to put back in our holder. And I don't want to forget that I want to use my attacher. These are great too for layering. I do kind of like that pink pulled in there. I love the pumpkin. Look, I could have put this here and not put the leaf on. We might still do that. We might pull that leaf off. We'll see. I kind of like that instead. And we only put a little bit of glue on this, so we're going to lose that one leaf. That's okay, because we can tuck that in somewhere. Okay, so that pumpkin is going to go on there, we've decided. And we could cut it off just to fit so it doesn't look like it's floating up above the bottom. I always think this is like the most painful part of watching someone scrapbook. It's like, no, should we do this? Or should we do this? I don't know. Do you guys do that? Do you go back and forth and think about what you want to do? I do like that banner, maybe. So anything that I see that's kind of oh, I kind of like that, the way that looks, then I'll pull it out and put it aside. Or anything I think would be a good layering piece. I really love all these little words and the chipboard words as well that you can just layer underneath your photos. So we'll look for a few of those. That little tab would be cute. Let's see. Hello, Julie. The heart is definitely cute. I don't know if we need the heart though. And I haven't quite decided if I want something layered under this title. I don't know. We'll think about that one. Maybe a different color. Sometimes if I just put it on there, then I can think about whether it's something I feel like works. Can also do that. Let's see, now we have some tickets. Tickets are always great as well for just layering. So this maybe could go like that. Okay, I kind of like that. So I'm going to cut these in half because I do like this, and that way we can use the other half for another thing. And we'll just tuck these right under here. think I'll tuck them under the matted part. Okay, and I do like this. So I think we could go ahead and just, I'm going to add a little bit of glue, but then I'll add my staple. So don't be afraid to just layer things on. And then let's see, what way should we staple it? Maybe like this. So I've got two staples. They're a little bit staggered. Hello, Margaret Erica. How are you doing today? And then we'll do the same thing here. I do love this stapler. And let's see. I think we could go ahead and glue these down, and then we could tuck other things in if we felt like we still wanted to add some stuff. I think that looks pretty good. So we'll also add our little staple to let's see. We'll add it to there. I'll have to place these back together. And then I know between the tape and the glue, everything's going to stick nicely. Okay, we can, I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Before we press it down, we'll grab our leaves. And then if we wanted to, we could add a little bit of glue right under here. And then pop up a couple of our leaves or finish gluing them down. We also have a few flowers here. We could definitely cut some of these flowers and tuck them in if we wanted to. I don't know if we want to do that though. Those flowers that we could cut apart from that sheet, those might be a good option for that. I'm still not sure about that one. Okay, so let's go quickly to our cut apart sheets. We've got this one, oh, maybe the pumpkin. We're going to pop up this pumpkin because I've decided, yes, it is going there. And I want it to be cut off kind of here. So what we're going to do is, actually we can cut it off after. We could pre-cut it, but then it might not be really straight. Okay, so that's going to go there. I'll wait to turn that over, otherwise everything's going to go flying. I think I'm just going to take that tag off. All right. Let's see. What else are we deciding on? Oh, so we're maybe some flowers. Could also tuck in these leaves here. I don't know that I want the foam on it though, so I think I'm just going to pull. That was that leaf that we decided not to put on the bottom. So we're just going to tuck this in. And the glue dries clear, which is nice. Okay. We might use those tickets on something. We've still got that leaf. Okay, so the cut apart. So we've got these ones that were on the back of the paper. And then we've got this one that was on the back of the leaves. And I'm thinking maybe a pumpkin. So when I'm fussy cutting anything out from there, I like to use some little, fussy cutting scissors. These are stitching scissors, but you could use, the cutter bee ones or any of those little ones. And then I'm just going to cut around because I find that if you're not trying to use a whole big piece of paper or cut a big piece of paper, you're going to have a little bit more control. And you could leave a little bit of a border, but I feel like I want this cut pretty close. So what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of ink around the edge, and that will hide any areas where we didn't exactly cut, but it's actually pretty good. We'll take the ground espresso, and this is when I like using a sponge. So let's grab a little bit of that ink. If the sponge is going to hold on. Some of these sponges I've had for so long, and I think maybe the Velcro part is starting to come off. Okay, I think I've got it on there enough. So you can see it's just, no, maybe not. It's just adding a little bit of a shadow to the edge. And that now you look like you have that, almost that laser cut embellishment. I don't know specifically if I'm going to put this pumpkin right here, but I'm looking for something that I can kind of tuck in. I think I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm going to tuck this in here. And we're just almost like continuing with our layering. So it's not like the pumpkin's going to be the focal point. It's just, and I'm going to add a little bit of maybe the chipboard word there. So that'll almost be a base for it to sit on. So the rest of the pumpkin is there. Let's see if there's anything else we should add. Sometimes I'll finish the layout, but then I'll look at it, a day later or something, and I'll realize, oh yeah, I should put that there. Okay, we're going to grab our foam tape. We're going to stick this leaf here. So how's everybody's week been? It's been busy, very busy. Rosie's actually going to be here next week, and she's going to share a project with you, and we're going to take turns. There, we're going to tuck that in there. So I'm going to be here one week, and she'll be here the next, which is going to be great. Because I started a job and just working a day a week, but it's just a little bit busy to try to do everything. And I still definitely want to be crafty with you. So I will be here every second week. Right? I kind of like putting these in here because they're there, and then just adding them. And I want to add another one of those staples, but of course this is put down now. So what we can do is just add our staple, make it look like we have attached it, but it's on top. All right, so we've got this. I'm kind of liking this, and then I think we should glue down our pictures. I always love pictures of pumpkins. All right, let's see. I think we'll just pretty much put it down like that, and then we'll decide if we want a few other elements. And I do want to come in and put a chipboard word here, an autumn story. Let's see. We've got making memories. That's kind of cute. I don't think I want the blue. Perfect pumpkin. That would be cute there because she's holding a pumpkin. Maybe we'll do that. Thanks, guys. All right, Diane, thank you. Thank you for stopping in. Okay, we're going to put perfect pumpkin. I'm actually going to move that up just a tiny bit so it's covering that mat. Then we'll add, I don't want to get my hand in that ink, so I'm going to just wipe that up. All right, now we can use our grid ruler. I do like a grid ruler because that will help me get things a little bit straighter. And I'm just looking, it's upside down, but I'm just looking to get it fairly centered. So this is 2.5. If I came down here, that's 2.5. To me, that looks pretty good. And I think if you were to take, just sit down while you're watching a movie and do some fussy cutting and then put those in with your ephemera, you would be able to quickly grab whatever you felt like from that ephemera. I'm just going to glue this one. And that looks pretty straight to me. Okay, so then we can put on these pieces. I'll probably write the date or get a date stamp and then put that in here. And when I glued the photos onto the back, I didn't put the glue right to the edge, and then that allows me to just tuck things in there if I want. Okay, now we can glue these down. So I'm just using my ruler again. I think I'll do some lines for journaling at the bottom, so it doesn't really matter how high I have this. I think if I have the journaling here, it's kind of balancing it out. That's what I'm telling myself anyways. And I'll just keep the spacing between the photos fairly even, but I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm not really too worried. We still have lots of room if we wanted to. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. If I want to have my photo even with the title, then that's how I'm going to decide on my spacing. It was such a gorgeous day when we went. It was actually, Amy wanted to wear something that was really like a fall sweater, and it was so hot. We had shorts on, and we were actually really hot. So she did put her sweater on for like some of the photos, but it was too hot to keep it on. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. Mini stapler is perfect. You're right. We're on the same wavelength. An unhelpful manual. I'm going to trim this while I have what's here glued down. This is probably not the best way to do it, but there. I also need to trim this off. And then I will use my pencil and do some journaling lines here. I don't know yet what I'm going to write, but I'll write that in and before I take a photo of it. What else do we have here? I do like that I added the purple there because I think it kind of pulls that in. And then I really like this little binder clip. I don't know if it would really fit on there, but let's see what else, if we want to tuck anything else in there. I feel like we're kind of good. We could put the binder clip on right here, maybe. Maybe we'll cut it out and we'll just see. So you should probably use a craft knife. Just to start these pieces so that you're not going to injure yourself. And you could definitely just cut this piece out, and then that would be a frame, which would be perfect for using with especially those pages that look like they're pre-done. And I could have cut that one out. But, you know, sometimes when you're focused on something, it just seems like the right thing to do. You could even punch that little piece out in the center if I don't know if I have a small hole punch on my desk. If not, we won't worry about it, but if so, then we'll just punch it out. And this is a pretty sturdy cardboard, so it is going to look really nice. I'm not even going to put the wooden handle on this. I'm just going to use the purple to go around the edge. And that's just going to cover any of those white paper areas. But just make sure to wipe your hands off in case you have any ink on them. And then let's see. I have a little hole punch. I do love this little hole punch. It's, I don't even know how big it is, 1/8 of an inch, I think. So just gonna pop that out. Isn't that cute? And I'm actually going, I'm not going, I'm trying to decide whether I should pop that up or if I should just glue it and kind of leave it like that. I lightly bent it, and because it is cardboard, it'll be fine. And then that almost looks like it's, you've got a little clip on there. You could put a piece of foam tape behind it if you want, but okay. Then let's see, I do want to add a couple pieces of either the chipboard or the ephemera of the words. Crisp golden days, that's cute. Could layer that here. And I feel like we could even have something else right here just because we have those things. Thanks, Jenny. Oh, let's see. Not that. Maybe like a ticket or something. I don't know. I might just have to think about that. You could also cut these. I don't think I want that color, but you could definitely cut those and have them. So if I wanted this, but just cut it and then like that, I think that would look good. $49 Market is also really good at having lots of examples of how their products are used. They have lots of great YouTube videos. So if you're ever kind of stuck for, how should I use this? Or I want some ideas, definitely check out their social media, their blog and stuff too. Okay, I like that. I think that's probably, I'll put my journaling here. It's probably good. I did bring in some of the Robin's Nest dewdrops. Hello, Bonnie. So I'm not sure that this purple is exactly what I'm looking for, although I think it would work. And then I don't think I want to use that pink. We'll take a couple of the purple out and we'll see. Usually I will go through a couple of the different mixes that I have and just pull the colors that match whatever I'm working with. So this one is really a good one for fall too. It's called Winter Retreat, but it has a lot of, fall colors in it. And then I usually add 2 or 3 different clusters. So the blue in this is really pretty as well. And then there's these small brown ones, which are really great. And let's see. We could probably leave it that. We could probably put a couple over here, or maybe I kind of like those there though. There's another smaller orange one, and we could put a couple right here. So I think that works. The purple, I think the purple is close enough that it actually does work. So then I will go ahead and glue those down. And I think that's pretty much it. I will definitely post a photo of the finished project on Scrapshot social media. And yeah, this was so much fun to hang out with you guys, play with 49 and Market. Hello, Melanie. And hopefully, if you have this or if you have this on your wish list, then it's giving you an idea of something to play with and use it for. But whatever you're creating, we would love to see it in the Scrapshots paper crafting group. The October challenge is still going on, and we want to see anything that you've used embossing powder or dry embossing on. The challenge is embossing. So that runs to the end of the month. The winner will get a $25 gift card. So make sure you add to the album, the challenge album. Thank you. Thanks, Melanie. And yeah, have fun, but definitely share in the group what you're making and what kind of stuff you're having fun with. We love to see it. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Rosie's going to be here next week making something fabulous. And I hope that you guys have an amazing weekend. Enjoy any of that fall weather that we're getting. And hopefully you're getting some good weather too. So thanks, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.